sweet mother, send your child unto me, for the sins of the unworthy shall be baptized in blood and fear. Hey, what's going on, peeps? My name is MrRhexx, and we're back with some more Skyrim. Today we're going to be doing the Dark Brotherhood questline. As of your votes, you guys voted that you guys wanted me to do the Brotherhood questline, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And as we finish that, I'll let you guys vote on what to do next. Now, we already got the quest. What you have to do is just going to be a couple of... It's going to be like a little kid and a woman here talking, and they'll talk about Aventus Aretino, who apparently is trying to convoke the ritual to the Night Mother so that we, or I mean by we, I mean the Dark Brotherhood, so that they can kill whoever he wants them to kill. It's a secret ritual that has been done since what I believe would be the Third Era. The whole story with the Night Mother is shrouded in mystery, really. Nobody really knows who she is, and there's only theories, but we're gonna go ahead and start it because there's a lot of walking that we have to do. We're gonna have to walk all the way to Riften, so it's gonna give us a lot of time to talk about what the Brotherhood is and, you know, how it all started and what it is all about. So might as well just get this done. We gotta, damn it, stealth up here. There we go. Now I'll just be quiet here because obviously this part is pretty it's pretty dark and awesome and gloomy. So
Sweet mother, send your child unto me, for the sins of the unworthy must be baptized in blood and fear. Sweet mother, send your child unto me, for the sins of the unworthy must be baptized in blood and fear. Grod, you old crone, you'll get what you deserve. The Dark Brotherhood will see to that.
Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak wishes to express his deepest sympathies at the death of your mother, Nalia. Unfortunately, because you are fatherless, you have no other known relations. The Jarl cannot allow you to remain in your home unsupervised. Therefore, in no more than a week's time, you are to report to Honor Hall Orphanage. His mother died when he was 10, and he was sent to the orphanage in Riften, a pretty big and famous orphanage. That's why he was sent all the way over there. We don't really know anything about his father. The Grelug, is it Grelud? I think it's the Grelud. It's kind of a bitch. She mistreats the children. She hits them, yells at them, calls them, you know, calls them names, and she even prevents them from being adopted, which is pretty messed up.
Very tired. Sweet mother, send your child.
From this, we can gather that he's been doing this for a very long time because he never stops. And it's not just a loop, right? Like, he's saying that he's tired and he just keeps on doing it. So the ritual consists, and I should probably just talk to him because kind of making noise here.
Finally, my prayers have been answered.
You alright?
It worked! I knew you'd come, I just knew it! I did the Black Sacrament over and over with the body and the things, and then you came, an assassin from the Dark Brotherhood. You don't have to say anything. There's no need. You're here, so I know you'll accept my contract. My mother, she died. I'm all alone now. So they sent me to that terrible orphanage in Riften, Honor Hall. The headmistress is an evil, cruel woman. They call her Grelod the Kind, but she's not kind. She's terrible to all of us. So I ran away and came home and performed the Black Sacrament. Now you're here, and you could kill Grelod the Kind.
There we go. So we get the contract from the kid. So the contract pretty much establishes that you must make an effigy of a body. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything resembling the person that you want to kill. Of course, I would assume that people would go ahead and try and do that, but it's not necessary. It's just supposed to be an effigy made of meat and blood and, you know, what you would assume a freaking scary effigy would be. And then you stab the meat, the flesh, with a knife that has been coated in the petals of the nightshade flower. As you can see, there's the dagger and there's the nightshade, and this is the book where the I believe it's explained, you know, what the ritual is all about. And there it is. Sweet mother, send your child unto me, for the sins of the unworthy must be baptized in blood and fear. It's very interesting because it says the sins of the unworthy, almost implying that there are worthy sins, or that there are those who can sin, who are worthy of sinning. Obviously, probably relating to the actual people of the Brotherhood, the Dark Brotherhood, those that are worthy of sinning. In contrast to these guys who are not worthy of sinning, and then they're baptized with blood and fear, so they are killed. Although in some way it almost seems like you're rewarding them because you're obviously sending them to the void, which is something that the Brotherhood probably wants themselves. It's very interesting stuff. So the ritual is designed so that the prospect that somebody wants somebody else dead gets sent to the Night Mother with some crazy magic, probably, Jesus, Lydia, probably obviously tied to the actual ritual itself. The message gets sent to the Night Mother, then the Night Mother tells this message to the listener, and then the listener tells the speakers, the 4 speakers of the Black Hand, and then, you know, the speakers tells the whoever member of the Brotherhood that wants to do the job. The process, as he mentioned it, is the Black Sacrament, but the actual organization that takes care of it is called the Black Hand, and it's supposed to be a metaphor for the 5 members that correspond to the Black Hand, meaning the thumb being the listener, and then the fingers being the speakers. There's also this special secretive branch of the Black Hand called the silencers, who are supposed to be the nails in the hand. Every speaker, we don't really know. I don't know if there's a silencer for the thumb, for the listener. You guys can correct me on that if you guys know. But I think it's only for the speakers. The speakers have a silencer, and the silencer is supposed to be like an assistant, like a super killer. Supposed to be like a really, really cool killer, and he's just supposed to like take care of shit that other people just wouldn't be able to take care of. But it's specifically suggested that the silencers have liberties that the other Brotherhood members don't have. They're allowed to kill whoever they want, whenever they can, whenever they want, if it's obviously for the benefit of the Brotherhood. But it's very interesting stuff. There is some kind of magical link happening in here, whereas someone performs the sacrament and then the information gets automatically sent to the mother, and then the mother, by telepathic magic, tells to the listener. It's very interesting, and it's specifically interesting when you realize that the whatever telepathic magic the mother uses to send her info to the listener can only be done. Like, it seems like there are restrictions, right? Because not everyone can be a listener. Cicero really wants to be a listener, and even the Night Mother has claimed that she wanted, not that she wanted, but that it's sad that Cicero can ever be the listener. Like, almost as if she's suggesting that there's something preventing her from communicating telepathically to Cicero. So there has to be some kind of restriction, some kind of magical pattern in the body of the humans. I don't know what it is, really. But there is something that prevents some people from being the listener, from receiving this magical link, and I find that very interesting. But we'll talk about more about the Brotherhood on the next episode, because this is really just an introduction, and we won't even deal with any Brotherhood members today. We will do the contract, and it's gonna be a lot of walking, a lot of, you know, us talking. So just wanted to give you guys a small little introduction to all of that stuff. Now, before I guess the last thing I want to talk about is probably the sanctuaries, because I know that a lot of you guys are probably curious about, you know, how big the Brotherhood is in this world, because back in Oblivion they used to be pretty big. I mean, they were kind of respected. I think they had 2 sanctuaries.
Why is that?
They had 2 sanctuaries in Cyrodiil, and obviously the statue was kind of a big deal, and everyone feared them. Like, they were kind of big back then, but now they're not anymore. There's only really the Falkreath Sanctuary here in Skyrim, and the Dawnstar one is pretty much deserted. So I'm sure that a lot of you guys are wondering what the hell happened. They call that the Dark Brotherhood recession. It's something. It's not really like an organized thing that happened. It's really just a collection of misfortunes that befell the Brotherhood, almost like the Thieves Guild and their misfortunes that they're having in the Skyrim game, you know, with the nocturnal skeleton key being stolen and all of that. It's just a series of bad lucks, I guess. Like, so they had a sanctuary in Wayrest in High Rock, and apparently the Corsairs invaded Wayrest and actually took over Wayrest, believe it or not, and they destroyed the sanctuary over in High Rock. So that one's gone. The one in Corinth in Elseway was also closed because just a series of misfortunes. Then the Great War happened. It destroyed the lucky old lady and the tomb for the Night Mother. Cicero had to take the coffin out, and a bunch of people died in that war trying to protect the coffin and the tomb. So that's pretty much gone. The sanctuary in Bruma, that's in Brabille, by the way, where the lucky statue is. Now there's a sanctuary in Bruma that was also destroyed in some riots. The last one is the one in Chaining Hall, and that one's still standing, but there's no members. Who is this girl?
All right, hand over your valuables, or I'll gut you like a fish.
I like how Lydia just goes up and like protects me. I'd rather die.
Then I guess that's your last request, fool.
So, the story says that Cicero, and there's a lot of story to this, you know, like what happened to the Brotherhood and how everything kind of progressed, or more like how everything just kind of fell into chaos. But Cicero moved the coffin and a lot of people to Chaining Hall for it to be like the main kind of sanctuary for Cyrodiil, but people started dying. Not necessarily because there was a war or anything. People just, I guess they were not very good at killing others, so they just ended up dying, you know, one by one, and eventually there's only a few people left in the sanctuary in Chaining Hall. And apparently one of the guys, this is funny, one of the guys actually pretended to be the listener. For whatever reason, he wanted to be the listener. He pretended to be one, and Cicero asked him for the binding words, and he couldn't say them, so he killed him. Cicero killed the guy. So that's probably what could have happened to us. We wouldn't have been able to set the binding words in the quest line, but regardless, whoa. All of those guys died, and Caesar eventually had to leave. So the sanctuary in Chaining Hall is it's like the only one that is still there. Like, it's not destroyed. It's just empty. Like, there's just nobody there. It's pretty much like the one in Dawnstar. Like, it's not destroyed or anything. It's just empty. So as far as the Brotherhood and their sanctuaries, the only one that is still working, and I don't even know if you can even call it working, because, you know, they don't really have a Night Mother over there, and they don't really follow the tenants anymore, but the one in Falkreath is the last one that we have. But enough of that! Oh my god. This is no bueno. I'm gonna probably go back to... Dude, this guy is just destroying me. I should use a shout. Go ahead and I don't know which one I have active. Oh, that would have been pretty bad for me. Sorry. Oh, Lydia. But yeah, enough of the Dark Brotherhood. We'll talk more about them on the next episode when we're actually dealing with them, and we can be a little bit more specific with the mother and all the theories that people have about, you know, who she is and where she comes from, and we can even talk about the Morag Tong if you guys want. For now, we have a couple of questions. People have been asking about Umariel, because I said before that Daedras, and just to, let me just scratch myself here. I mentioned before that Daedras don't really die unless you kill them in their own plane of oblivion. So if I were to summon a familiar, I guess not really a familiar, but like, you know, an Atronak or a Daedra or whatever, and yeah, Atronaks are Daedras, guys, come on. If I were to summon a Daedra and Lydia were to kill it, the Daedra wouldn't really die. Its soul would be sent back to its realm of oblivion, and then it would reconstitute. The reconstitution process, all we know is that it could take weeks, days, months, years, millennia. We don't really know. We do know, though, that the reconstitution process is not very pleasant. That is supposed to be painful. But other than that, we don't really know exactly what happens, how it works, and how long it takes. It's really just speculation at that point. But we do know that they don't necessarily die. They just, you know, get reborn. So to really kill them, you have to go into their realm of oblivion and...
Leave me alone.
Oh boy,
I don't
yeah,
have time for this foolishness.
I like your guys. Alright, so, and you have to go into their own realm and then kill them over there. It's the only way for you to kill them. So, I was mentioning before that Umariel, and this is the last boss of the expansion in Oblivion for the Knights of the Nine. I was saying that he's a Daedra, and the reason that he wasn't killed by Platinal Whitestrike was because he was a Daedra, and some of you guys commented that, well, he wasn't a Daedra, he was an elf, and some of you guys even commented that he was an Aedra, not a Daedra. So I want to clear some of these doubts. I think it's kind of important, and the story is pretty cool anyways. So the way it works is, so okay, so before, let's just backtrack a little bit. So what's an A-lead? Because it's gonna come up. The A-leads are the elves that lived in Cyrodiil back before the Empire, the Imperials, took over Cyrodiil. So for example, the Imperial City was actually built by the elves, like those particular kinds of elves. And you know, the White Gold Tower and all of that, that was all built by the Aelids. So I'm gonna show you a picture of how an Aelid is supposed to look like. So you can see they are kind of like brownish. I don't know, I mean, you can see for yourself. Aelid, I don't know if it necessarily translates into anything specifically, and it's kind of weird because most types of elves obviously have the mare in their name, meaning elf, right? So there's usually like a prefix to their name and then the name elf. So like, you know, Dwemer meaning like deep elves, and then Altmare like high elf, and you know, like they all have their thing, right? Like Bosmer wood elf. But the Aelids don't really have that, which makes them kind of special. But they're supposed to mean Heartland elves, and there's a couple of other meanings. But regardless, they were pretty much the elves that owned like half of Tamriel, the Cyrodiil part of Tamriel. And I think they were the ones that had like the first empire too, which was kind of cool. But yeah, so the thing about Umariel is that he was a king for those people, for those elves, for the Aelids. Now, the interesting thing about him is that his mother was an elf, was an Aelid, but his father was an Ada. Now, we don't really know exactly what type of Ada he was, if he was like a Daedric Ada or an Aedric Ada, or what the hell he was. Although most probably would have to be a Daedric Ada, since he shares the same form as the Aurorans. Now, if you don't know what an Auroran is, an Auroran is a type of Daedra, and you see those a lot in Oblivion, obviously, in the quest line for the Knights of the Nine. It's kind of like a warrior, like clad in golden armor. That's pretty much what it is. I'm kind of scared of this guy. I'm bursting down. There we go. But I guess I can show you a picture of an Auroran. Here it is. So those appear a lot in Oblivion, and that's how Umariel kind of looked like, of course, just kind of a bigger, more badass version of that. And you know how they're supposed to be, like, Daedras come from a very specific sector of the void, like just like humans, right? Like we all have a place where we were born. It's almost the same thing as with Daedras. They all have like their realm of birth. So, like, for example, like Dremoras, the ones that you summon here in Skyrim, they specifically come from, you know, the realms of, like, Merum's Dagon and maybe some other Daedric lords. And then, you know, you have, like, the Scamps, and they're from a very specific realm. If you played Shirain Isles in Oblivion, then you saw the girls, the Daedric girls, like, those are Shoggorath's, you know, Daedras. Like, they all have their very particular birthplace. Well, the Aurorans come from the realms of Asura, Meridia, and I believe even Shoggorath. So it is understood, since he kind of looks like that and he summons them, that he is most probably of Daedric descent, because he just kind of looks like it, I suppose. I don't know. Shore's stone discovered. Cool. But anyways, so he was part Daedra. He wasn't full Daedra, but he was part Daedra, which already meant that he was immortal. Because of his Daedric blood, it meant that if he was killed in the real world, he would be sent to the Oblivion realms to reconstitute. So he made a pact with Meridia, saying that if he were to ever die, that he would use her realm to reconstitute. So it is my understanding that since he's a Daedra, he could reconstitute in really any Daedric realm, you know, whichever he chose. And since he was already he already believed in Meridia from the get-go. I believe he just kind of chose her, like, alright, we'll just use your realm for reconstitution if you don't mind. So when he died, he was killed by Palinol, but then he just revived later, I guess centuries later, and that's where the Oblivion expansion takes place. Let me just go ahead and find a way to go through this place. I don't really want to fight this guys today. But this brings up a lot of questions, right? Like, wait, so Daedras can have babies, right? Like, obviously that's probably the biggest question that you guys are probably asking yourselves. And it is kind of a slap in the face with most of the facts that we're given for Skyrim, because we know that Daedras don't necessarily have a gender. Like, we know that they can transform into whatever shape and gender that they want. Like, it's not a thing. Like, you guys remember in Oblivion when you get to fight, like, the Daedroths that look like bipedal alligators, and those Triceratop-looking Daedras and the Scamps and all of those guys. It's funny because we don't really know if those are actual Daedras or if they're just, like, animals. Like wild animals from the realms of Oblivion, like our bears, for example. You know? Because since Daedras can just transform into anything they want, they could easily just be Daedras, or it could just be animals. We don't really know. But the point is, they can transform into whatever they want. So they don't have genders, but obviously we know of more like bald raping girls. Although they don't seem to have children out of that. Like the daughters of Cold Harbor don't really get pregnant, do they? But then you have this one this one Daedra who apparently had sex with an elf girl, and Umaril came out of that, so apparently they can. You know, it's one of those weird things. But whatever, I guess. I have no clue. The point is, the elf mother had a child, and that's where Umaril came from. She's just weird, man. That's just messed up. Okay, so this is Riften, boys. We made it. And the guards are gonna try to extort some money out of us, of course, as it always is.
Hold there. Before I let you into Riften, you need to pay the visitor's tax. For the privilege of entering the city. What does it matter? All right, keep your voice down. You want everyone to hear you? Just let me unlock the gate.
Whenever you get a choice, always choose the persuade option, because you get free levels like that. There's no reason to choose anything else, really. Woo! Cool. We're gonna have a couple of conversations here, though. It's one of the most annoying cities to enter because there's just always so much stuff that's happening. There's our lovely Miol, which we might make our wife at some point.
Be careful, Miol. The Thieves Guild has Maven Blackbriar at her back. One snap of her fingers and you could end up in Riften jail. Or worse.
They represent the reason I'm here. I can't just ignore them, Eren.
I know. I just don't want you to leave. You're the only good thing that's happened to this city in a long time.
No, so sweet.
I don't know you. You and Riften looking for trouble? Yeah? Well, I got news for you. There's nothing to see here. Last thing the Blackbriars need is some stranger sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. The Blackbriars have Riften in their pocket, and the Thieves Guild watching their back, so keep your nose out of their business. Me? I'm Maul. I watch the streets for them. If you need dirt on anything, I'm your guy. But it'll cost you. Then you're stupider than you look. You better watch your ass around here.
A little nice introduction to the Blackbriars, the Thieves Guild, and well, it just goes to show you how bad this city is doing currently with its crime rates. But it's kind of a lovely city anyways. It's supposed to be lovely because the area that surrounds it is supposed to be in a kind of an autumn setting. Just the climate here is autumn style, which obviously is one of the most lovely, at least in my opinion it is. The city itself though, what the books tend to say about the city is that it looks old, even though it's obviously beautiful. And it's supposed to be one of the more commercially active hubs in all of Skyrim. It's supposed to have a lot of commerce and business going on, and it's supposed to have a lot of people coming in and out. It's still supposed to be looking old, like the way the houses and the the bridges and everything really is just made out of wood. It decays really fast because of the water. It's supposed to make everything look old and rusty or whatever. All the leaves in the ground kind of make it look older too. But it's kind of cool because you have this little river that flows all around the city. Not sure how much I can show, but no, because I don't really have the map ready. But you have those gates over there, and they open, and then the boats come in, and they go through the water, and there's supposed to be like merchants that come in and start depositing things. You know, people want to buy whatever, or you know, merchandise that they want to stock.
Sorry, just thinking about my experiments.
And yeah, and then the boats just kind of go all around the city, and then they leave on the other hand. But apparently the Civil War is creating a lot of disruptions on the commerce here in this town, so that's why it looks so shitty as it is. It's supposed to be, according to the lore, so bad that, you know, people obviously fight for things that drop on the ground. Like if you drop like a gem or something, people will actually fight for it because they're just doing so bad. And it doesn't help that you have the Thieves Guild stationed literally here, and the Blackbriar extorting everybody, and the lawmaker can't really, the Jarl can't really do anything to save it. It's kind of interesting stuff. Anyways, we're supposed to kill Grelod the Kind. It's a name that was given by the inhabitants of Riften. Ironically, everyone knows that she is kind of a B word. And this kill is one of the most interesting kills in all of the Dark Brotherhood quest lines, because nobody really gives a shit if you kill her.
Make myself clear.
Yes, Grelod.
And one more thing. I will hear no more talk of adoptions. None of you riffraff is getting adopted, ever. Nobody needs you. Nobody wants you. That, my darlings, is why you're here. Why you will always be here, until the day you come of age and get thrown into that wide, horrible world. Now, what do you all say?
We love you, Grelod. Thank you for your kindness.
That's better. Now scurry off, my little gutter snipes.
Everybody knows that she is not a very good person, and because of that, this quest line is specifically interesting because when you kill her, really just nobody cares. And it's really the only person, I think, probably in the game that you can freely kill in front of other people, and nobody really does ever anything against you for it, which is kind of cool. All the children will celebrate, and Constance is the only one that acts a little bit freaked out, but she doesn't actually tell the authorities. And it's even interesting because when you kill her, everyone will know that you did it. In fact, a lot of people will comment that they saw the Dragonborn come out of the house right after she died. So everyone like knows it was you, but no authority figure ever does anything for you or against you, which is kind of interesting. You can also, even if you have Hearthfire installed, you can never adopt any of these children until you kill Grelod. So it goes to show that she is in fact preventing these kids from getting adopted, which, I mean, it's kind of messed up if you ask me. And that's coming from a guy that's killing people for money.
It's Grelod. Enough! Someone has killed Grelod.
Constance will always act freaked out, regardless of the circumstance, including if you cast a spell like Fury on her and actually make it so that she's the one that kills Grelod. She will still act, you know, as freaked out as she is, which is kind of interesting. You shouldn't dilly-dally too much inside though, because guards can still come in. Like if you take too long, I believe the girl gets so excited that she starts running out, and then guards will automatically come in. Like whenever you kill people, guards and people tend to gravitate towards the dead person, and I think it causes the guards to also come in, and it may get you into trouble. But for the most part, if you kill her, maybe hear some lines of dialogue and then leave, you'll be okay. Nothing's gonna happen. But that's done. That's the quest line. It's pretty easy. I believe she only has 2 points of health, you know, compared to our 220. So you can pretty much kill her with literally anything. Let's go ahead and put some points into Conjuration or something. So Summoner apparently is bugged, and I guess it's probably the 3rd episode where I've said this, but I still should take it because I actually want Atromancy. It doesn't really say it on the tooltip. It says double duration for conjured Aeternax. It doesn't specify that it does it for the Daedras that you can summon, but it does. It actually does apply for the Daedras. Now, elemental potency doesn't. Conjured Aeternax are 50% more powerful. This does not apply to Daedras, so the wording is obviously lacking or is a bug. Either way, I guess it doesn't really matter. Point is, I need a Tromancy because it's just that good. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get 1 point in Summoner, which is okay. It's really not bad at all. I was considering going into Sneak a little bit just to, you know, get this extra sneak attack damages bonuses, but I don't know. Sneaking, I don't think it's gonna be my style for this playthrough, because instead of focusing on the game and trying to be as precise, I might as well just chill out a bit so that I can better tell, you know, the stories or whatever. Anyways, we're gonna I guess we're gonna fast travel now to win Helm and finish the quest here. The last question, and okay, so I'm sorry, the Umariel the Unfeathered was not really a specific question made by somebody, but a question made by a lot of people, so I don't really have the name of the one who said it, who asked it. But for this last one, Mac Gamer P12? Oh, it's Mac Gamer All P, like Let's Play 12. Okay. Oh no. Well, he asked, the Dragonborn from Skyrim was stronger than MrRhexx. MrRhexx was using 4 words of power, and the Dragonborn from Skyrim only uses 3. How did that happen? And this is something that I've also been asked a lot recently, because it seems like you guys are very interested to know the power of MrRhexx. Like, how good was he really, and why was he as powerful as he was, right? Specifically because there is a lot of inconsistencies, and that's what I'm gonna call them, inconsistencies, with MrRhexx, because he was supposed to be glorious, right? I mean, he killed like 100,000 freaking dragons. He obviously had all the knowledge in the world thanks to Hermaeus Mora, yet, you know, we, the measly new Dragonborn that only could learn 3 words of power, defeated him. You know, he who had all the words of power in the world at his disposal. And obviously we know that Valok also defeated him, who was a measly dragon priest. Oh shit. I can't even attack this guy right now. This is ridiculous. But yeah, Valok, a dragon priest, killed, not killed, but defeated MrRhexx, and that dragon priest didn't even have a mask. Like, if you go and defeat Valok, you'll notice that he doesn't have a mask. Yet apparently he was strong enough to defeat MrRhexx. Like, oh no, Sanguinare. Damn it. There's a lot of inconsistencies. I am not gonna be able to kill this guy. He's just gonna keep on regenerating. He actually heals more than we do in damage, and I just don't dare attack them, so that's whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter. And look, I don't know what to say to that question, Gamer LP. It's one of those things where unless we get more info from the developers, we can only really speculate. Let me just go ahead and finish this.
Well, Growlhog the Kind. Is she, you know... Aha! I knew you could do it. I just knew it. I knew the Dark Brotherhood would save me. Here, just like I promised. This should fetch you a nice price. Thank you. Thank you again.
Okay, the chat thing is stuck. Alright, well, it's done. We get the family heirloom, which we can then sell. It's a little secret room here that literally has nothing, but oh man, she is messed up. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gamer. See, the thing is, and this is the end of the episode, so I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm just gonna chill out here and answer the question. But the thing about MrRhexx that I find the most interesting is that what makes a Dragonborn stronger is not necessarily like, you know, fighting experience or whatever. It's really just information. The more knowledge a Dragonborn has, the more powerful it is, because obviously a Dragonborn's power comes from the voice, the power of the voice. And the power of the voice comes from the knowledge of words of power and your understanding of those words of power. 2 things that can be gained by having knowledge. You know, like, the more you know about these words of power, the more powerful your voice is. And the more words of power you know, the more options you have in combat, right? Like, it makes sense. I'm gonna walk to Solitude, I suppose. But yeah, the more knowledge you have, the more powerful the Dragonborn is, which would make sense, having a character like MrRhexx seeking harbor in the world of a Daedric Lord that is known to be the Daedric Lord of Knowledge, the Daedric Lord of Wisdom. He has, in theory, all the knowledge in the universe. So if there is somebody that you would want to have as a tutor, it would be Hermaeus Mora if you're a Dragonborn, right? So you have to assume that MrRhexx really had every word of power conceivable. He even had the ability to manipulate and control humans, which is something that, of course, dragons wish they had, but they didn't, right? Like, you have to assume that Alduin couldn't even do that. Like, we know that Alduin could most probably bend the will of other dragons, but he couldn't do it to humans, right? There's no... We never get to experience that. And the reason I believe he didn't is because MrRhexx at some point actually manages to human bind you, right? If you touch the monoliths that the humans over in Solstheim are pickaxing, you actually fall under the influence for a little bit, something that never actually happened with Alduin at all, and nothing that we ever see in the main story of Skyrim or in any of the side quests here. So it is safe to assume that I don't think Alduin or any of the old dragons really had the ability to manipulate humans. And the ability to manipulate dragons was probably only an ability that Alduin possessed, not any of the other dragons. Yet MrRhexx had access to that info. But still, he was defeated by Oz, right? Just a measly, lame-ass Dragonborn. And then by Valok before that, who was just a dragon priest who didn't even... This dragon is just gonna kill me, man. And like, there's no way for me to run from it. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm just walking around trying to talk a little bit about this, but should probably leave it for the next episode. I don't know. I don't know what to answer for this, really, because there is no answer. We don't really know. Like, there are discrepancies to this because MrRhexx should be a lot stronger than he is. He really should be. He has all the words of power at his disposal. He has the knowledge for them. He has killed a bunch of dragons, so he should have a lot of dragon souls, and we know for a fact that the more dragon souls you have, the more powerful you are, because that's the reason he wanted to kill the Dragonborn. He wanted to absorb his soul and his dragon soul so that he could be powerful enough to leave the influence of Hermaeus Mora, right? So he should have been very, very powerful, but it doesn't seem like he was, really. So my only speculation, and this is like super speculation here, is that I think Hermaeus Mora had he manipulated the events to make it so that he would lose that fight against Valok and then end up being imprisoned by him, because he wanted to have a Dragonborn as his servant. That's what Hermaeus Mora wanted. So I feel like it is very likely that he did it on purpose, that somehow he manipulated the events so that he would lose against Valok and then, you know, be forced to be imprisoned in Apocrypha. Because he probably knew that if he kept on killing dragons, and if he completely destroyed and killed Alduin, then he would have been way too powerful for Hermaeus Mora to control. But that's just my own speculation, that's the reason why he wasn't as strong as he was. He was probably just being, I don't know, somehow being weakened by Hermaeus. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate you guys for liking these videos. Tomorrow we will, I guess, become part of the Brotherhood. And, I don't know what she's doing. And we'll talk about the Night Mother, where she comes from, the story of the lucky old lady, and the Morak Tongue and all of that stuff. And it's gonna be very interesting. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.